Hello everybody, welcome back to Ingrid's Kitchen, and today we're gonna learn how to make this delicious sweet potato gnocchi. And it's so simple to make, and I filled with Quorn. So you need 500 grams of sweet potato. You can cook in water or you can bake, but if you cook, leave the skin on so you avoid too much water coming in. While the potato is cooking, we're going to prepare a corn. I'm using one red onion, and I'm going to put the onion in a pan, and I'm not using any oil, so I'm going to add a little bit of water to make sure they get nice and brown. When you're using water to get caramelize the onions, you add slowly, and as the water dries up, you add a little bit more of hot water again and the salt. So I'm using 1 teaspoon of salt, and then I'm adding 300 grams of corn. Once I add the corn, I'm gonna add all the condiments that I like, such as garlic powder. So I'm using 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, and also I'm adding some kale in this recipe because it gives you a nice iron content and it's full of micronutrients. You can add anything that you like, or you don't need to add, you can just make with the corn. Now I'm gonna let it cook, and I also added black pepper, guys, half teaspoon of black pepper. And because I like a colorful food, I'm also adding half carrot grated, a big one. But like I said, you guys can use anything that you think will taste nice together. Okay, now I'm adding some smoked paprika. You probably have about 1/4 of a teaspoon of smoked paprika, some black pepper, as I said to you guys, and I'm gonna leave finishing cooking, and we're gonna go into our sweet potato, but you can add anything that you guys like in here. So my sweet potato is not too soft, so it's just perfect to mash, and we're gonna add a teaspoon of vegan butter, margarine, and then we're gonna mix it all, but you can also add a little bit of olive oil, but I prefer with the butter, it gets nice and creamy. And then we're gonna blend it or mash it, as you can see. We're gonna mash it until we get a nice consistency, and then I'm gonna start adding my flour. So for 500 grams of sweet potato, I'm gonna use 1.5 cup of spelt flour, but you can use oats flour as well. So you can make this recipe as a gluten-free if you're using oats flour, gluten-free oats flour. The only thing I'll tell you guys is to add slowly, okay? And I'm adding a little bit of salt in my flour. Add the flour slowly so you make sure you get the consistency that you need and you don't overdo it. And start working the sweet potato very gentle. It's like you're doing a bread, but even more gentle, okay? We don't want to press too hard because we don't want the sweet potato to be stuck into your surface that you are working. So gently work the sweet potato with the flour until you get into a nice consistency, as if almost like a bread, but it's a bit softer than bread, but it won't be gluing in your hand. It will be a nice texture. I'll be able to show you guys in a minute. So as you can see, I'm gently working the sweet potato, and I left this video a bit longer so you guys could see this process, which is really important because otherwise your gnocchi can get very dry, okay? So as you can see, it's coming to a ball, and I'm going to show you the test with the fingers where you can tell that if it's still gluing. So at the moment you can see on my hands still quite sticky, so I'm adding another 1/4 of a cup with the flour, and I'm mixing all. So again, gently but pressing and going around until we form the ball, and then I'm gonna get a little bit to see if it's still stuck in my hand, and we should be able to see this. Look, as you guys can see now, if I roll it and press it, it's still sticky, but it's not too bad, and this is the consistency that we want. And if you guys haven't done it yet, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and leave your comment and share with the friends and family that you think will enjoy this recipe. So our dough is ready, and this recipe is amazing because with this recipe you can make the sweet potato croquettes as well, which is our next recipe, and I'm gonna put it down soon so you guys can check out my YouTube in the next few days for that recipe. So in here I like to divide my dough into parts, equal parts, so it makes easier for us to make almost, symmetrical size of the gnocchi. So you roll your dough, the part of your dough, and into a little tube, and we're gonna cut it. You can either cut in half and then the other two halves, or you can do as I am doing, which you also get some almost equal parts. Now pressing down, open the dough and make sure you have flours in your hands all the time, because otherwise it will stick to your hands. Now we're gonna get our corn. Look, as you guys can see, I put a little bit on the side so I can keep putting my fingers on. We're gonna get a corn and we're gonna fill it, and you can fill with anything you like. Sweet corn like cream, will be nice as well, or cheese, a little bit of cheese. But there we go. So make sure that you close properly all the edges and gently. I'm doing this one very slowly so you guys can see properly. But pretty much it's really easy to work with this dough because it's very moldable, if I can say that. Is that a word? So we're gonna roll it, and then I'm gonna make the shape again for the gnocchi, which is like a rectangular shape, in a kind of a square rectangular shape. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a fork to draw the lines to make it look like more like the gnocchi. So there you go. As simple as that. Obviously I'm gonna start doing this faster until I get everything done, as I can show you guys. And now it's ready. So in boiling water, I don't put salt, I don't put nothing, because we already have that in our doughs. You drop your little gnocchis in and it will start to come up. Because this one is filled, is a little bit heavier than a normal gnocchi, so they won't come up straight up to the surface, but you will see them leaving the bottom of the pan, as you can see there on a picture, I hope. So truly it's like a 3 minutes. So then place your gnocchi, and I simply made a tomato sauce out with some tomatoes and some onions and garlics to serve with this gnocchi, because it's already filled with the corn and we don't want too much flavor in here. We want to have a nice taste with our sweet potato and that corn. So it's a simple red tomato sauce with some basil and some parsley chopped on the top, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. So thank you very much for watching, everybody, and enjoy.